we are. If you come by here Sunday at 5, to this room, that's your only chance of maybe getting some extras if they exist, which they might not. And everyone here will get a box for this panel. So I'd like to introduce a very exciting array of international collectors for you. And we're all going to say hello. We're all going to say it in their own parlance. So everyone say, hey to Matthias. Hey. Everyone give a big hola to Luis and Josefina. Hola. Konnichiwa for Amy Takeda. Konnichiwa. How's it going? Hey? Scott. You knew about that. How's it going, eh? How's it going, eh? And a big g'day to Mark Salati. All right, Mark's going to start us off and enjoy the panel.
Whose idea was that, Sky? I've already stuffed it up,
Don't end the show. Just start.
It's going well so far, isn't it? Thanks. Just quickly a little house, everyone knows Sydney. Most people are familiar with Melbourne. Ayers Rock, or Uluru as we call it, the people are quite familiar with as well, but no one knows where I'm from, Perth on the western coast. But I guess we're best known for the Steve. That's the only thing that people remember us for. I'm a collection manager at the Western Australian Museum during the day, and at night I have my own collection. It's a very old photo with, I was a lot less grey, and so I apologise for that. But what I focus on mostly with my collection is coins. I should have had these going faster, sorry. Now you're all probably familiar with the Australian Power the Force release figures. These are some of the rarest carded figures from the last line that are quite famous and well known from us. Prior to the release of the Anakin carded figure, it was a mail away in the US, as many of you would know, and I had tried to mail away for it myself, and that's just a little letter I received, a letter of rejection. We're terribly sorry, but Australia's too far away, or we're out of your geographical region. So. But I did have more luck with the yak face, and I wrote to both my local canner in Western Australia and one in New South Wales, just asking if they had one for my collection. The local one said we do stock it, but we can't sell it directly to the public, but if you go buy a regular figure in a store, we'll swap it for you, so we keep our inventory. So I went and got I think it was a General Maydeen or something, and I took it and traded it for a nice carded yak face. And this was a little note that was enclosed with one that I received from the New South Wales company saying, here's a yak face for your collection. So she very nicely stuffed it in an envelope. She cut around the bubble and the card and squished it down. But it was still good it was great to get, you know. I got the coin and it was still very nice. So I ended up with 2, which was lovely. I was a rather abnormal child, I guess, which explains why I'm an abnormal adult. And I never really played with anything. I just set it up and collected. And I used to sit there and type away at my old typewriter and send letters to the local Kenner, the general manager of Canada, and drive him insane. And I'd say, look, when is this coming? When is that coming? And this is a letter I received back saying, just listing several things that were available and what wasn't going to come. So there were a lot of the mail-away offers like that Anakin weren't you couldn't redeem them in Australia. And some of the shipping costs, some of the larger items, the play sets like the TIE Interceptor, wasn't coming to it. Didn't make an appearance in Australia because it was just too large to ship. And by the time they tried to sell it, the price was just so high it wasn't worth importing it. And also because I'm on the western coast, a lot of the stuff that came to Melbourne and Sydney had sold out before it came anywhere near WA, so I often missed out. But it's actually closer to Singapore than it is to Sydney. So. But they were pretty good about it, and Tall Toys did make several mail-away offers available for the locals, so we did quite well. We're a little bit behind you guys, but we did quite well in the end. You'll see in the Punjaramis mail away the Australian address, Alexandria, New South Wales. The other thing they did was make the coins available in a different fashion. Smaller stores were issued with these stickers that were placed on Return of the Jedi peg warming cards, basically. And you could actually, when you bought the figure, you could redeem a coin from a little box, a little Trivial Pursuit question box that had all the coins in. And I remember shaking them all out on the counter and selecting the ones I wanted, and then went back and bought the 13 figures that I needed to get the coins. And they were pretty much the selection of coins, those 13, that were available down under. In addition to those that were carded to the Power of the Force carded figures. These are just a few non-toy Aussie rarities. There's the Commonwealth Saving Bank money boxes. There's also a Darth Vader one that I don't have pictured there. These are some McDonald's cups. I spent years looking for the fourth one. I got them after the fact because in Western Australia we didn't have a McDonald's for the longest time. So I had to get them from the Eastern States. And I spent years looking for that fourth cup, only to be told by Todd Chamberlain that there were only 3 cups released. So, it was very, very frustrating. Why would you release 3 cups? I'm not sure. It's 1 a week for 3 weeks. It was just bizarre. Right? But that's Australia, I guess. These you've probably seen before as well. They're the Hungry Jacks, Return of the Jedi glasses. So it's Burger King is Hungry Jacks down under. So it's essentially the same. They're slightly different shaped, but they have the Hungry Jacks logo instead of the Burger King logo. And of course, a lot of people know the Gamorrean Guard bank, that I get a lot of random emails saying, "Hey, can you get me one of these?" But they're not as common as people think. Oh, this is just some department store catalogue clippings that I collected over the years that I stuck in a little scrapbook. Just a selection of some of the figures, some of the prices. I've got dates there as well, so that was some of the early 80s. That's it. On quickly. Now, if anyone has any, like a quick question?
Yeah, if anyone has like 1 to 2 quick questions, we can get that or we can save them to the end, but if someone's burning.
The Gamorrean Guard thing, was that an Adam Gilson thing? Was it still called Adam Gilson?
The question was whether the Gamorrean Guard Bank was still the Adam Joseph company. Yeah, it was. Yeah, a lot of them actually came. I bought mine loose. It was bizarre. It wasn't in a box. It was just in like a small toy store. I never saw them in large department stores, but it was loose. I remember buying the Emperor's Royal Guard at the same time, and that was boxed. It's very strange.
Time for one more for a large.
One more.
Were the 27 the same size, the same diameter as the Power Force?
Was that the coins?
Were they the
Sorry,
same?
why am I yelling? Sorry. Was it? I saw you doing this, so I figured I'd do this.
Were the coins the same size as the Power of the Force coins?
Yeah, they were the same coins. Yeah, they were identical coins. We just got a strange selection that they seem to make available down there. I guess they picked, there was Fett, and I guess they picked some of the major characters. Yeah. That's about it. All right, I'll pass you on to Scott.
Thanks very much, Mark. As Guy had mentioned the opening of the show, my name is Scott Bradley. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and I'm going to speak a little bit today about some of the more exclusive items that we got in Canada particularly since this is the 30th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back, I chose to focus on the years of 1980 to 1982, so we're going to be focusing on. We got a number of shrink wrap figures here in Canada, if you recall. I'll just General Mears was the most famous of those shrink wrap figures, and the names that we got on those particular figures, they were working names that Kenner USA had given us. The names themselves had actually differed, for the most part, quite differently from what the regular release figures were called. And again, the most famous of them would be the General Mears figure. And you can actually see how the name evolved throughout the life of the figure before it was actually generally released to retail. The top image, it shows the actual nameplate of the action figure as General Mears. And later on in the year, when Sears had put their Christmas catalog together, you can see the image of the actual set, and on the bottom the text description of what was included. And you can see that the name had changed from General Mears down to AT-AT Commander Mears. And then, as everyone knows, when it was released generally to the public the following year in '82, it was just simply called AT-AT Commander. I mentioned before that these shrink wrap figures came in a number of different sets. Here are a couple of images showing the different sets that Sears had sold over the years. The first one was from 1980, and this particular set had that shown included the shrink wrap Ugnaught. In 1981, the following year, the size of the sets had decreased to 4, and this set actually shows the General Mears figure. And in 1982, Sears had issued 2 different sets of 3-packs. None of the figures in this set had included any shrink wrap figures at all. They were just the regular photo carded figures. And they included 1 or 2 new figures that were new for '82, plus 1 or 2 older figures that had been lying around that they were trying to get rid of from overstock, depending on what the actual set was. Sears in Canada actually issued its own version of the Cloud City playset. It was a year after the USA release, and by that time, the figures that were originally included, they weren't new anymore. So Kenner Canada kind of took an opposite approach to what the US did. The US basically used the playset to sell the new figures, whereas Canada used the playset to sell old figures. So the little white box on the front of the package, it overlaid the old text from the American box, and it basically indicated that the figures that are included differed from the ones on the front of the box, and that they included, as you can see here, carded versions of the original Han, Boba Fett, Ugnaught, and the Lando Calrissian. So differently from the US version, where you had bag figures down here, we had, for the most part, carded figures with our special offer sets. Between 1980 and 1982, there was a lot of activity regarding the special offer sets in Canada. It was a good way to get overstock out to the public and reduce the inventories that Kenner Canada had on hand. Now, Kenner Canada actually took a great deal of time and effort to match the figure that was included with what the playset or the vehicle was. They just didn't randomly throw in any old figure. So you can see here just a few examples of the different special offer sets that we got in Canada. They either came with 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 figures. And again, same with the Cloud City playset, the special offer sets in Canada actually came with carded figures.